Okay, hello, welcome back to another game of chess. Today we're playing e4 as per usual. My opponent is going to respond with, they go for a Sicilian, so of course we're going to play the Mengarini Sicilian with the move a3 here. Especially venomous if they play knight c6, then we can go for this b4 idea. However, they go d6, so instead of messing around with any b4 ideas, we're just going to play knight f3. And we're going to carry on with our open Sicilian, basically, which is knight f3, d4, knight c3, and you know the rest. We're going to go for basically a Yugoslav attack, which is the setup with knight c3, bishop e3, f3, queen d2, queenside castles, and bishop on c4, maybe e2, who knows, and frankly who cares, because we're just going to develop all our pieces really quickly, and then probably throw a lot of pawns at the opponent's king. This is basically the way to make every game of chess an exciting game of chess, is castle the opposite way to your opponent. So if you're playing against a Sicilian, that normally means castle queenside, because they're not going to be castling queenside with an open c-file. Doesn't usually make sense, and as you see, our opponent is prioritizing castling kingside here. Or we don't want to play queen d2 too early, because queen d2, there's knight g4, our queen doesn't defend g4 anymore, so we're going to be a little patient and play f3, supporting the e4 pawn, and ready to drive forward at the king with g4, h4, g5, h5, throw these pieces forward, and get our king safely tucked over here. It is one of the easiest game plans to get your head around, I think, in general, is the whole idea of castling opposite, and then it's a pawn storm. It is throwing your pawns at the king, trying to break this open, and once these pawns fall, or once these pawns become overextended, you shouldn't have too much trouble finding some tactical punch with your pieces that can exploit the inevitably weak king. However, the only drawback of this is that your opponent is going to try and do the exact same thing. So, generally speaking, a3, little bit of a weakness, can act as a hook to tear open the our king here. However, if you want to play the Mengarini Sicilian, sometimes you got to make sacrifices. Okay, g4. G4. We're going to leave our light square bishop because it's not so obvious where that wants to be right now. Maybe on c4, but then all of a sudden b5 comes with tempo. I don't really like that idea. So instead, we're gonna play. What are we gonna play? I kind of like playing bishop e2 whenever the knight comes here, because then you sort of just dominate the squares the knight can go to. Our opponent, I think, might go knight c4 though, because they've just put their queen here, then they've got knight here, and what I think they want is the bishop pair, and I'm not too concerned. I'm just gonna play h4. And enjoy my day. I don't want to move my bishop, because I think if they do this, I'm going to be taking this straight away in one move with the bishop instead of wasting a move and then taking, and we'd be in the same position. I mean, what did I say? Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you can read a lot from the order of your opponent's moves in terms of their intentions. So we're going to keep going, right? We're going to play h5 first before g5, because often if you play g5 too early, the knight can actually come into h5, and that can act as a really nasty kind of like blocker for the progress of your h-pawn, because basically you don't want these pawns. Like, you can even get away in a lot of positions with just sacrificing them. You want open files ready to attack this king. However, sometimes these pawns are really useful in sort of messing up these pawns here to weaken this king. Our opponent seems to be a bit slow on the idea of attacking me though. I think they sort of invested quite a few moves in trading off my light square bishop, which I'd invested 0 moves in. I literally hadn't moved that piece. And I mean, you can see why. Look, all my pawns, we've got the Just Do It Nike sponsorship here. They're all on light squares. So right now, I'm completely dominating the light squares without actually needing a light square bishop. And it's not like my opponent's light square bishop is very active right now anyway. So I don't think them having the bishop pair is really a huge drawback for us. Okay, yeah, they go for rook to d8. Which, I mean, okay, fair enough. Are you going to just try and break this open and get on my queen? I guess it makes sense, but at the same time, like, hello, g5, please move. I'm coming through here. I'm getting at your king. And you're kind of just developing your pieces, but I don't know if it's quick enough. I do not know if it's quick enough. Remember we said the game plan is castling opposite, and whoever wins the pawn storm, whoever gets there first, basically is going to have a big advantage, swing the rooks over and get at the king. And I think that is what's going to happen here, hopefully. If ever we see e5, we get knight f5 or knight f5, which is very pleasant. I'm just going to play g6. I have officially knocked on the door and said, hello, I have a g-pawn that has made it all the way to right in your face. And you can see here that we are now going to disrupt this pawn structure in front of the king, inevitably leaving weaknesses. So if you play h6, I'm probably going to sack my bishop. I mean, why would I not? It probably leads to mate, actually. I can't even see a way to escape that. Or maybe knight f6. Then we go check and here and like check and here and just ugh. I mean, I think if we see h6, I'm pretty sure we're safe in sacrificing the bishop. So they go back to f8 with the knight. Very defensive, which makes a lot of sense though, to be honest, because you need to be defensive when you're getting slapped up by my g-pawn. There's a famous saying, knight on f8, there is no mate. I mean, it's very hard to checkmate when you do have knight on f8, so this is a good move from my opponent, I think. A very strong defensive resource. However, can I still do something interesting? Like, could I still play h6? Hanging this pawn in 3 different ways just because I want to open the h-file. I'm very tempted. The thing is, if I take here first, which some of you might be like, why are you not doing that? I'll take here first. I do want to take that. And then play h6. We can see g6. And then I haven't opened the h-file. My pawn's locked out, and my opponent might actually be fairly secure and safe. If I play h6 now, leaving my g-pawn here. Yep, we're going for it. We're going for it. Why not? Look at these pawns. This is just the best way to play chess. Right, so will my opponent take with their knight? Maybe? I think taking with the h-pawn has got to be a little bit suspect, right? Because then takes... Then it's like the line of sight to h8's open. Now we can take here. Our opponent takes. I was not expecting that, actually. It would have been a very reasonable idea to just not take this pawn and use it as an umbrella, just hiding under it, because I can't take my own pawn. What I might do, guys, is the very simple just queen h2. Yeah, okay, we're going to go queen h2. I mean, it's not a complicated move. It is, we have an open h-file. We have just achieved opening up that beautiful file on the board. And hello. Like I'm just saying hello with my queen. Now, we can go check if we want. We could go check with the bishop. The king is going to be forced back to g8, and the rook is not going to be able to move. I kind of like doing it with my bishop, actually. But check here. And then, should I just keep pushing this pawn forward? And then play rook g1. Yeah, guys, this is just what you want to see. I want to give one of these checks because I don't want to let the king run to f8. Because once it runs to f8, it can run this way, and all of my pieces are going to be on this side of the board. And maybe that's not so good. So it's either bishop h6 or queen h6 now. Okay, we're going to whack the queen in there. I do think this makes a lot of sense. And then my game plan, I think, is just going to be f4, f5, right? And rook g1. And this has to work. Okay, is f4 the best move? I've got a very good feeling that it is. But also maybe rook g1 first is accurate. And leaving the bishop here is good because it stabilizes the knight. We're playing f4. We're playing f4, guys. We're going to tear this open with an eventual f5. Takes, takes. Maybe we see bishop takes, but then there's knight takes here, and then you can get mated on here. I didn't even think about that. That's why I should have gone with the bishop. I'm so dumb. Okay, it's okay. Bishop to f8 here. I think I should have given the check with the bishop, because then that wouldn't have been possible. But oh well. Queen g5? Okay. Threatening f5. I mean, we must be completely winning here. But that, I think I should not have allowed bishop f8. But maybe it's fine. Will they play h6? Seems possible. Then I'm just going to drop the queen back, and I mean, you've just weakened everything even more. If they do play h6, should I decide which square I should move the queen to? I might go to g2, I don't know why. There's something's telling me g2 is the right move. Or, okay, you know what? Queen g2. I don't think it really matters where we move this queen. Maybe g3 would have been better, keep an eye on. Nah, I don't really know. This seems nice. And now they play bishop. Okay. Bishop g7, bishop g7, right. This is held. This is all fine, this is all good. This is definitely an annoying defender of the position, but f5. If you move the knight, I play f6 and we just win the game. It's got to be f5. It has to be f5. If you take, I get a knight on f5, or I take with my pawn, sorry. Oh, it's just game. It's just got to be game over now with f5. There's just, the queen is just on the g-file, the king's on the g-file, and that is not good news for my opponent. And it's important to notice as well, this queen's on the c-file, my king's on the c-file. I do not care about where this queen is right now. This is not bothering me. Why? Because I have a c-pawn. And why do I have that? Because my opponent hasn't attacked me with their pawn, torn this open, and created some problems. What we've done is created an immense structural, tactically exploitable weakness. And now this just looks like it's game over to me. If you move the knight, I can play f6. Then either it's checkmate or you move the knight back and I'm going to take your bishop, king takes, and then probably some dank looking line with rook g1 and bishop h6, some sacrifice. And all the while as well, I'll just tab back here in the game. Our opponent invested 1, 2, 3 moves in winning the bishop pair. Let's see what they've done with that light squared bishop that they won. Literally nothing. I mean, it's doing absolutely nothing. We're going to play f5 here. If you take with the bishop and sacrifice the bishop now, then I can just take with the knight. And not only have we won material there, but we can also attack this, attack this. Still a huge problem. And, oh, this is just lovely. Bishop takes, knight takes. Bishop takes c3, maybe? Pawn takes c3, queen takes c3. Okay, I think they might be going for this, which will leave our king a little weaker, but like, surely not as weak as this, because we can play this move right now. But then there's a check, but then we can block the check, and then there's no more checks because we hold a1, and your rook's hanging, and there's check here and this possibilities. Oh my, should I go check here? Check here, you can't take with the knight because it's pinned. You go here, I go check. You take. Oh, I like this, guys. I like this a lot. We're going check. If you come up here, you get hit with check and you lose your queen. If you go to, yeah, okay, so we take here. This king is just so open now. Rook f1 is surely a move. And I mean, I'm just going to play bishop d4 as well, but I'm hoping to drive the king to one of these squares to take this with check and maybe just go on a fat mating attack. Because, I mean, this king is not safe. Our opponent has not activated their rooks at any point. Wow, look at that. We go check. And the queen comes here. I think we should probably put the bishop here now. Just because when they take here, it will be really nice to just play bishop back to b2. Oh, we can take over here. Yep, okay, scratch everything I just said. Bang. Look at this. It's getting sliced and diced. You go here, check, here, check, can win the queen, I guess, but it's probably mate. Wait, let me do some calculation. Oh my god, guys, look at this. Check, here, check, here. That's mate, right? We just walk the king down. Wow. Walk the king down to its very early demise on e4. Wow. And that is what happens when you have a weak king. That is what happens when we break open the king and then walk it to the center of the board. The game comes full circle. It began with e4 and the king has been mated on e4. What a game. Okay, guys, I actually think that is the best game I've played ever. 97% accuracy, 1 inaccuracy, with just an absolutely immaculate game plan, executed, called out from the start, executed, and finished in style. What more can you ask for, really? We're going to go through it relatively quickly because there's already quite a long video. That was quite a long game. But wow, okay, let's go onto the Masters database here. E4, C5, A3. Immediately removing basically all the Master games because this is the Menger Sicilian. D6, Knight F3, and then, okay, we're straight out of the Master games, but have I had this position? Yes, I've had it 12 times, okay. Won 50-50 of them. And here, okay, database absolutely useless because we're already in a new game. Developing Knight C3, Knight F6, Bishop E3, F3, Queen D2 best, Queenside Castle's best. Going for this setup here with the diamond of pieces, castle and queenside, and making sure to play F3 to not allow any Knight G4 shenanigans is super, super reliable. Like, this is almost always a good idea, especially against the Sicilian, and it leaves you with the freedom to throw these pawns up. And I guarantee if we look at what the best moves were here, G4, best move. That comes in. I could have gone G5 early. Wow. Okay. I went for H4. They go here, and again, it's kind of a waste of their time because now H5 best move, G5 best move, G6 best move, and then, okay, now taking on here would have been really strong. I went for H6. If we had taken on here, king takes, wants Bishop G5. I guess if you trade this, then my queen is getting in your face. This is kind of weak, maybe. Maybe. I guess this all makes sense. But I really like, if we go back to what I did, going for H6, because then whatever happens after knight takes, which was a mistake, we should have seen pawn takes to let the king run, I think, to give a bit of breathing room on F7. But after they take, we can open the H file, king takes, and it wants F4 early. I went Queen H2, again, great move. Here, check, this is the inaccuracy. And the reason this is inaccurate, oh my god, wait. Wasn't I talking about something like this? Then this. Okay, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. What are you talking about? Knight F5. Knight F5 takes. Check here. Knight D5. I'm supposed to see that. And if they go Bishop D8, then we go Bishop here. F6. Rook G1. What? Wow, okay, very interesting stuff. The computer sees some very dank-looking sacrifices. We just went for check. King goes back. F4. Yeah, that's not a flipping inaccuracy, I'll be honest, guys. The inaccuracy is not playing Knight F5. Just chill out. F4 here. Was that the best move? Awesome. And then Queen G5. Queen back. F5. Takes. I don't know why I'm surprised. I knew this was a pretty perfect game already. But, oh, yeah. And then Knight. Oh, I could have gone Knight 7 earlier. But here we go, Knight 7. King comes up. Mate in 11 now. Check. Here. Check. Mate in 6. Check. Check. Oh, I had a quicker mate. Mate on E4 is better. Wow. Basically perfect game. What more can you ask? Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really enjoyed playing that. Definitely very proud of that game. After spending yesterday making probably the most moronic video I've ever made in my life, please go check that out. It's a 2-minute long video that is basically a Rocky parody, chess boxing. I mean, I don't know what I was doing. But clearly that allowed my brain to rest enough, given that it was such a brainless activity, to come and just make the absolute best moves of all time. This is, I believe, day 8 of 8 uploading every day on the channel. Seeing some pretty decent growth, which is awesome. Tell all your friends to subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really helps out the channel. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.